What's up, guys? Hope you're good. So, back again, part two of the original Ashley Wallbridge Garuda kind of sound. So, if you missed part one, we were just writing the melodies, getting something really cool really quickly, not going into too much detail, and just getting an idea down, So, let's have a bit of a recap what we did in part one. So, the chords. So they were the chords, and then we did a quick drop with, a kick, clap, a loop, a crash, a downlifter. We've got the chords, just same synth, but open with a bit of sidechain on them. We layered that up with just one other synth. And then we slapped a big bass line behind it. Now, that is just a basic idea. Now, when I'm making music, like all the time, doesn't matter what track it is, I'll always do the same process, and it's always seemed to work. First get your idea down, like if it's chords or a riff or whatever, then do a basic drop, which we've got here, and then I'll start mood boarding the track out, like so. Let's give a bit of room here. Let's take all this. Oops. Let's take that over there, so we've got room. When I say mood boarding, it's putting all ideas on the DAW file, because a track is like a book. Like a book has different chapters. It tells a story. Now, this track, we can't just do the whole track with these chords because it'd be boring. Same with a book. We can't just tell one little narrative and it stays the same narrative. It'd be boring. It goes up, down, there's cool parts, there's down parts. Same with a track. So all we do is we take these chords and do different stuff with the chords or different stuff with the riff. Now, we don't have to be crazy, but the more different stuff we have, the track is interesting. So all you've got to pretend is when you're pressing play on a track or somebody's listening to the tune, it's got to be interesting. If it stays the same for 30 seconds, then it starts to become less interesting. So what you want to do is have loads of different interesting parts. So let's start creating this, second tutorial is all about creating different parts of the track, but keeping, the chords the same. So these are the chords what we had. So firstly, let me just double check this. So let's get the actual chords down. So without them being stabs. So we've got this. So let me put that onto a piano. So let's get Let's get rid of everything else apart from these. So do. Okay, so they're the chords what we've got. Let's just take the velocity down. All I'm doing there is just making it a little bit less powerful. Let's give it a bottom octave. Okay, sorry, I'm smoking an e-cigarette, and also while I'm saying this, a lot of people always ask me, oh, the studio, what studio have you got and all this? So I very rarely go to the studio these days. I'm in the house, I've just got a laptop here, I'm upstairs in my little girl's room, and I write the ideas here. When it's all written, I'll then go to the studio. So we've got the chords here. Pretty simple. We've got A, G, F for A, G, F. So all what you want to do as well, if the chords stay the same all the way through, it gets boring. So what you want to do is emphasize on the chords the second time round, but not doing anything crazy. So this is the first time round. This is the second time round. Let's do something a little bit different, but not crazy. So look at these notes here, and all we're going to do is take, some of them up an octave, or, so. There we go. That sounds cool. So what we're going to do now is, they're the basic chords. This is going to be at the start of the track. So, like I told you, a book. Treat a track like a book. Start off easy. Don't tell all the stories straight away. You don't want to be showing all your amazing chords and your amazing riffs straight away. Keep it basic. Build up to the part which people look forward to. So let's write some ideas to do with these chords. So we've got these chords. Now let's get this sound here. This one. Oh, that's in a different key. Sorry, I did that last time. +7. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's create a new channel strip, and let's drag these chords down. Basic, doesn't sound too good, right? But what can we do with these chords which sound cool? Now, we've already got the plucks for later on to do the main part. So let's just create something cool with these. And in true Garuda fashion, let's do it simple. Let's just do stabs. Do, 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 do. So let's cut these. I don't know what you do on other DAW files, but I've just cut these so it does that. There we go. And there we go. So we got something there. This could be used in the breakdown. We could start, we could build it, more and more filter. So let's put that here. Now, this isn't enough on its own, There's nothing else happening, We need some kind of top riff. So I've got a sound here, which is, you'll recognise it. No, it's not there. Is it this one? Here we go. This is just like some kind of lead sound, like to go over, which will respond to this. So with them stabs, like do 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 do, just imagine them talking, and we want an answer from them. We want something to go over the top. So you'll recognise the sound. Let's give it a bit of volume and a bit more cut off. Now, if you're struggling writing melodies, all you need to do is think about, so when we're using this now, we're using the key A. Now all you've got to do is think, this is what I do. I grab these chords, I'll pull them in, I'll take them down an octave so it's staying out of the way, I'll mute them, I'll pull them across, and now we can write melodies so using any of these notes. So let's just make these a bit fatter so we can use any of these notes. So we can use that there, we can use that there, and we can use that there. So now all I'm doing when I'm writing these notes, if I'm not on a keyboard, is just start using some of these notes. Let's take these up an octave. And then this is G. Do. Then this F. There we go. Let's give that a bit more. Not bad. Simple. And now we're going to do the same the next time, and using that rule. We don't want it to stay the same. We need to do something a little bit different. So let's go do. And let's go up to this note instead of down. Let's try that. Bit shit really. Let's try. Do, do. See, always music is like question and answers. When you come into the end here, it's got to sound like the answer, the question has been answered. Like, oh, do, do. Question, answered. So here we go. Let's try that. That'll do for now. I mean, it's not the best, but it sounds alright. And again, if you want to make it a little bit more special, usually just take it up an octave. There we go. So we've got some kind of riff here. Now, that wouldn't come in straight away. We're just mood boarding at the moment, remember? We're just writing ideas. So, let's start this off. Sounds not bad. Sounds pretty cool. Now with this part here, all we do, we just evolve it. When I say evolving, it's cut-offs, synths, like, you know, adding a bass layer. So let's get some kind of subby low end. I'll show you. Let's just pull this in and I'll show you. So let's get rid of it's basically just a pad, you know, a low end pad, and because when you're doing breakdowns you need 3 parts to it. You need a low end, a mid end, and something on the top, and then it sounds full. So we've got low, mid, that's the low, let's call that bass, top riff, stabs. Okay, now, so this could be anything. These are really, you know, really simple sounds. So let's start, you know, moving this a little bit, and making it evolve a little bit more. So when, like, you know, we don't know where this is going to go in the track, we're just mood boarding, seeing what it sounds like. But this is starting to sound cool, and then we'll do something else, and we'll do something else. That's how me and Gareth Emery made the track Cunts so well. If you listen to the Cunts track, there's so many different parts to it. There's some stabs, there's some top riffs, there's some chopped vocal, and all we did for weeks was just do loads and loads of different ideas in the same chords with the same sounds, threw them all on the DAW file, and then thought, okay, what works best where? You know, okay, that's going to work with that, that's going to work with that. So then it stays interesting. So for now, let's do a little bit of interesting stuff. This is the cutoff. Let's get the cutoff for this and the cutoff for the top riff. Not bad. Also remember, when we're doing this, this is just an idea. Don't spend, like, say, this riff here, what we've done. That's not perfect. It's just an idea. Don't spend, like I used to do this in the past, I'd spend an hour trying to get this right. Don't do it. Just get an idea down which sounds okay, and we can go back to it later, you know, and fix it and make it sound good. So all we're looking for at the moment is mood boarding parts, because we've got, you know, we've got a drop going, we've got chords going here, we've got a bit of a riff, we've got these here. Now let's create, you know, something else, something big in the like, you know, what we could maybe use in the breakdown, again using these chords. So I always use a piano to reference everything, because a piano is so true. If it sounds bad, the piano will tell you it sounds bad. So let's get all these notes gone. So we've got these. And then we did that the second time. Now, what we could do here is everything's got to lead into something. You know, you got to build anticipation. So this part here, it's quite a soft bit. You know, it's quite a soft, cool bit. But this part here, it's leading up. It feels like it's leading up to something. So we could maybe try. Let's put these chords here, the same sounds. You know, I'm just using the same sounds always. You know, but feel free to have a play with whatever you want to do. So same sound, but let's give this full sustain. Full sustain. So this now. Yeah. Okay, so do. And you can still chop. Remember, as long as you're using the same chords, you can chop up, change the rhythm, whatever. Yeah. Let's pull that back. And again, we're going to be using chords like this, held chords, sustained chords. Use the same rule as always. Let me take the delay off. We need a top, bottom and middle for it to sound full. So this sounds like the middle part. So we need a bottom part. We need a bass. Copy the channel strip down. We only need the bass and which one? See, I've got ones which I can just go to quickly. That's way too low. This is literally just a sub with a bit of white noise on it. So we've got that. Let's add a bit of top to it. So let's just put some kind of pad on there. So let's go Academy sounds and let's go pad. Oh, that's not working. That's not good. I don't know if that sounds any good. Let's give it a... Yeah, perfect. So the difference, that one, high, this one, a bit more mid-range. So let's play them together. Not bad. I mean, we'd need to layer these up properly and spend some time, but let's just see what this sounds like with a crash and a boom, where we've got these in from the first tutorial. I always keep, you know, some sounds in there so we can quickly drop them in. So we've got that. Have we got a whole kick or something? Whole kick? Yeah. Oh. We've got that in there already. Oh, let's grab this whole kick. Okay, let's see how these work together. Now, going straight from this straight to this won't work that well. I'll show you why. Because we haven't built a little bit of anticipation. We need to build a breaker. So usually that's by putting a bit of room, put in a bit of a gap here, and we'll put like some kind of, you know, like sub boom or something in there, or reverse this, and it just works so much better. Let's take the volume down on all these. These are way too high. Like I said, we're just mood boarding, you know. So this with, you know, a little vocal chop or something might work really well. But if you look at it like this, we've got that little part. We've got that little part. We've got that part. And we've got that part. So now we've got 4 parts to actually work with. So the track is now not very boring. And remember, when we come to parts like this, we can make it really interesting. Just for instance, very quickly, I can, you know, let's bounce these ones down here. These are the first chords. Oh, where did you go? There you go. We can bounce them down. So we've got those parts. Now let's go whack a load of, this is what I do with all my tracks. Whack a load of reverb onto this. There you go. So long, let's give that another bounce. Okay, so we've now got long. Now let's grab this, but we don't want to grab the actual sound. We only want to grab the tail. So this is the tail. So let's grab 4 kicks worth. Grab 4 kicks worth. Delete that. Put that in here. We're going to reverse, fade in, and then let's delete that one. We have pretty cool, right? And now we could do that for as long as we want. We could do this much if we want, but let's listen to that again. Not bad actually. And then the second time round, we kind of need something to happen this time round. We don't want it just to repeat. Repeating is boring. Oh, just knock something over. Repeating is boring and lazy. You know, anybody can repeat something, but we're going to repeat it here, but just add something in. But what can we add? Usually it's a little counter melody or a little crash or a little reverse, just something to make the second part a little bit better than the first. That then says to the listener, oh, this track's getting better. If you keep it the same, the listener's just listening to something which was 10 seconds ago. So, let's do something with the chords. Let's take them higher. Now, we're only using the same sounds at the moment, but we could go, we could take this an octave higher. Let's take everything an octave higher. And then these are going to feel quite alone here. So let's fill this gap in. So we've got... See how that sounds. So let's look at the mood board in what we've got so far from here. Oh, before I carry on, I did mess something up. So if you're going to be going on to a breakdown, you always need a little bit of bass. Now, I'm not necessarily a lot of bass, but you do need like a little bit of a drone. So this, what we created, should be here. Like, so if this was the start of the breakdown, it's nice, but there's no bottom end, so the crowd can't feel it. So we need it to come in here. Second time round, remember what we said? We don't want it to repeat. It's boring. For now, it's okay. But here we need something. We need something to emphasize and make it sound cooler. Now, we could just add more layers if we want. That's cool, but adding an extra element is also good. So let's just put a piano in there for now. We've got these chords, so let's layer these in. But let's just do the straight chords. Let's get rid of these. Oh. Let's get these over. And let's change the sound. Let's do something big pads. Now, I've got, from years worth of, making music, I've got some good sounds. So, but be creative. Like, feel free to do whatever you want. And, this Logic file, also I'll put it on there so you can actually see. But you'll see from here the kind of feel it gives you going into this section by just adding another element. Let's turn that up. Can't even hear it. Let's go. Works quite cool. Now, this here, the pads, they will interact with these stabs, so the cut-offs will go up with them as well. So let's just do something cool here, because what you need to do on this section here is super important. Now, at the moment, we've just got bleed. Like, all these sounds are bleeding into this here. We don't want that. So let's just say, let's just give this a little bit of let's write this cut off. That'll do. So all these are going up, and then we need a respite here, and then something else comes in. So we need like a bit of a transition. Transitions are so important. It basically tells the listener, okay, this is stopping, this is coming in. So okay, so what we want to do, I mean, this is just being, lazy. Now, we're just going to render all of this down. Now, usually you'd have, a few of these, a few layers of this, a few layers of this, but we're just trying to get a feel of how stuff works at the moment. Once we get a feel, then we can go back in and we can do some cool stuff. So, let's render all of these down together. Now, let's mute all of this. This is what we've got. Now, this is the super important part here. So, at the moment, let's just cut it. And then what we want to do is we can filter this or take some cut off up, but all this part here is so important because it's telling the listener what's coming next. So what I usually do is I'll just start filtering it up. So let's filter that up. So I'll just solo it so you can hear. So it's got that, but that's got to be accompanied by a reverse cymbal or something like that. So let's go grab uplifter. That'll do. Let's go grab an uplifter. We don't want it too powerful, so let's make sure there's nothing else. All good, but it's a bit bland here, so we want to put, usually it's good to get some kind of kick with reverb and just take the top end out. So we've got this here. So simple. Let's just copy that down. Let's take off the tail. And let's just take away all of the high. So what we're left with is... Cool, right? And now, what we're doing, mood boarding, we've got a minute's worth of cool stuff. See, from here, you see, we could go straight to, these chords, and do a big build-up and stuff. It starts driving the track, but at the moment, we're not bothered about that. We're not bothered about joining the build-up to the middle section. All we're on about and all we're trying to do is mood board, ideas. That's all we want to do. The more ideas we get, the more exciting the track is. If you just do an idea and start joining it up, it's going to be boring. Now, this is the first time the listener is going to listen to that individual part. So let's just say, for instance, this sound, which is coming in, it sounds good there, but let's just say if it was introduced here, it's way too high and you can't really go anywhere. Like if it's already on the way halfway there and the listener is just going to be thrown off straight away. So when you get a sound done straight away, find the right hit point. And how I do that is I will create automation like this. I'll play it on a loop with just the start part like this. And I'll play it on a loop and I'll take this up or down. There. Nice. there we go. This section we're not working on yet. We know what we want to do with here. It's going to be the chords, it's going to build up, and it's going to drop. Now, we don't want to worry about this yet. We know what we're going to do there. We just want to keep working on cool parts here. Now, we haven't even done any cool effects. We haven't even, laid this up. This, all we want to do, the most important thing is just get your skeleton done really quickly. Like, super cool sounds and super easy sounds here. And then we're going to, quickly do a build, quickly do the drop. And so we've got like 4 minutes of cool stuff happening. And then once we've got all that down, then we're like, okay, we can go back. We can start looking at this. We can start adding sounds. We can start layering all the sounds. It's just the most important thing is the idea. If you haven't got the idea, you can't edit it. One of the biggest tips I would say, don't spend too long on little bits. This section, yeah, it's cool. It needs a lot of work. It needs, all this would need to be done properly. This would need to be layered. But if we've got the idea there now, then happy days, we can work on it. But if we haven't, then we can't. So, yeah, as a conclusion to, this tutorial, like 2 so far, like there's going to be a lot and we're going to have a complete track fully in the end. The main thing I'd say is mood boarding. Once you've got your main chords, which would be this, or this part, like we covered on tutorial 1, we then mood board. So we do the chords, take the chords from this, do different things. Like, I'll show you another quick one. So what we could do here is we could get this, for instance, these chords, these stab chords, and let's go over here. Okay, simple. Always ARPs are always good, so we don't need the bottom layer. But let's get this and turn it into an ARP, which we could use on the underlay. Same, when you're doing ARPs, you're always using something from the chords. So here, we don't need any of them. There we go. We've got that. Oh, we don't want that one. And then it's got to fill there. Oh, sorry. There we go, we can delete that for now. Yeah, but exactly the same as before. We don't want it to be the same the second time round. We want to do something different. So there we go. So if we weren't going to be using these, let's just say we were using this. Let's just put this in for now. And here we go. It's always going to work. As long as you use the chords in different ways, then it's always going to work. Try stabs, try bouncing them down, chopping them, turning them. So we don't know what's going to work best here. We can leave that in for now, and we'll just try it. So, yeah, hope you've digged tutorial 2. But it's all about mood boarding, you know. Simple sounds. Get yourself some sounds. Like I use this sound for everything. Get it down, get it sounding cool, and then once you've got some good ideas, then start to create that skeleton of the track. Once you've got the skeleton, go back in and start producing. Awesome. Hope you've digged it. Tutorial 3 coming soon. Ciao.